In the summer, you probably find yourself spending a lot more money eating out. It's okay, it happens to the best of us, but with Home Chef, you can save time and money while still getting that dining out feeling. Home Chef provides fresh ingredients and chef designed recipes conveniently delivered to your doorstep to simplify your cooking experience. Whether you prefer classic meal kits with pre portioned ingredients and easy instructions, speedy recipes ready in less than 30 minutes, oven ready kits with pre chopped ingredients, or quick microwave meals that assemble in minutes. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. And of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/ratchet. That's homechef.com/ratchet for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/ratchet. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. You know it's not fair. The fact that Netflix hides thousands of shows and movies from you based on your location, and then has the nerve to just keep increasing their prices on you. Now, you could just cancel your subscription and protest, or you could be smart about it and make sure you're getting your full money's worth, like I do, by using ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where you want Netflix to think you're located. They have servers in over 100 countries, so you can gain access to thousands of new shows and never run out of stuff to watch. So be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/ratchet. Don't forget to use my link at expressvpn.com/ratchet to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and those who don't identify as either, you are listening to Ratchet and Respectable. Yeah. This is the hardest I have ever fought trying to force myself to do the podcast. You know, I'd be out gallivanting in the world and I'd be like, oh, let me stop. Let me, honor my commitments and whatnot. I've been all over the world. I've had balls of fun. This is probably the hardest I've ever had to like force myself and be like, okay, you actually have a job. You actually have discipline. Like, go do what you're supposed to do and get back to your gallivanting later. I'm still in Martha's Vineyard. I'm having the time of my life. I am actually mad at myself for never having come here before. Because I would know tons of people that would come here. And like I was living in New York and we would always just drive out to the Hamptons because we're in Brooklyn. It was like 2 hours away, 2.5. And there was always fun events. There's Sag Harbor. So I was like, oh, we'll just go to the Hamptons as opposed to go all the way over to Martha's Vineyard. I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm doing simple, basic shit that if you told me 2 weeks ago, like, oh, you're just going to be eating warm donuts at midnight and eating clam chowder and lobster rolls all day. And instead of wanting to go to parties, you'll just want to sit on the porch and talk to friends and listen to the leaves rustle and enjoy the breeze. Like, I'd be like, get the fuck out of here. That's not my life. But it is. And I love it. I love it so much I'm staying longer than I was supposed to. I was only supposed to be here for a week. But there's a bunch of stuff coming up that I really didn't want to miss. I was going to miss Will Packer. You know how I feel about Will Packer, and especially Will and Mrs. Packer together. He don't really go too far without his wife up next to him, which I like about him. That's how a married man should behave. I'm really excited to like meet his wife. She does it for me. They do it for me as a couple, but like she's like the secret sauce. You know, like Marjorie does for Steve. She does something of the same effect. Except they be acting up on camera. Steve and Margie do a little bit of acting up, like they acting up, but they only put the wholesome things on camera. The Packers, there was some anniversary. He was drinking from the bottle and she was dancing around in a thong, and I was like, hey, 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 this is how I like to celebrate. Men need to lead with stuff like that, like when they talk about women getting married and such. This is kind of related to them, but I had this thought the other day. I was thinking about the conversations online about marriage and relationships and dating. And all the conversations are so much about submission and labor and finances and splitting bills and all of those things. I mean, except for the submission part, unless it's mutual. I mean, are very practical. Like you do need to know like how we paying these bills and like how we dividing the labor in this house. Just left unspoken, it's going to be unequal for someone, usually the woman. So those are important conversations. We rarely have conversations online about like, like the actual reason most people want to be in relationships. I mean, some people just want like, in-house sex and in-house maid and like someone to go investigate the bump in the night. And that's a thing. But like there's also like there's romance and there's companionship and there's fun and there's vibes and there's vacations and there's really just appreciating your person and actually liking them. I rarely hear people talk about like when they want to be in partnership, actually talk about companionship. Wanting someone to submit to you is not wanting someone to be in companionship with you. That's you wanting to control someone, you wanting to be a leader. But how do you actually want to enjoy them and how do you want to be enjoyed? Clearly, something happened on this trip that like triggered me to start thinking about partnership and such again. I like observed someone. There was nice energy and then also like, practical things and also very superficial things. Someday I'll tell you about my list. It keeps changing, but one of the top things is we have to have a certain vibe and you have to have your own shit. Like you can't be my eternal plus one. I need you to figure out some shit and be like, we rolling. Like, oh, okay. Another conversation for another time that we'll never really have. But otherwise, the vineyard has been absolutely excellent. I told you about the bunch of BSing and chilling that I've been doing, but I have done a little bit of hanging out. I told you there's a film festival, Martha's Vineyard African American Film Festival, which is much different from the Martha's Vineyard Film Festival, entirely different. But it's the 40th anniversary of Def Jam, and I thought there was a film about Def Jam. It was actually quote unquote just a talk with film clips, and Jadakiss and Slick Rick, and then some other people from Def Jam were on the panel, which we got to mad late because the Ubers were one taking forever and then also super expensive. Like the same Uber that'll cost you like $19 will also fuck around and try to charge you 144 and be like, get the fuck out of here. But that's not the point. The point is we go to this talk and we had to sit in the back and that's fine. I didn't have my glasses on. I'm looking at the people on the stage and I'm like, okay, like I can identify who the moderator is. I can identify who the woman from Def Jam is. There was a man, I think he was, don't get me the line. He was a man, he knew a bunch about Def Jam. I have no idea what his role was. I told you we got there late. I missed the introductions. But, I should be able to identify Slick Rick, who I've been listening to since, I don't know, the 80s. I remember getting in trouble for like listening to Slick Rick on my Walkman when I was like sixth, seventh grade. The Adventures of Slick Rick. Might have been before that. Might have been fifth grade. I was listening to Indian Girl when the teacher took my headphones. Not so good at a private Christian school. Anyway, so I identified Slick Rick because, he has a very distinct accent. And then I think he had on glasses instead of the eye patch. From the distance, without my glasses, and just a blur of a man, I was like, okay, boom. And then I saw this other man who, when speaking into the microphone, sounded like Jadakiss, who has a very distinct voice. But the man sitting on the panel had a head full of luxurious, thick, curly hair with like a proper hairline, like about where it would have been in his 20s. Like it was right there. The person speaking had Jadakiss's voice, and I was so confused because I was like, that man been bald all my life. But apparently not. Like I remember jokes about people being like, yo, Jadakiss has hair. I didn't realize that it wasn't a joke. I didn't realize people were actually stating as fact that Jadakiss has hair. Lots of hair. And he's sitting up there and like definitely linen and loafers. The top could have been silk. Because I had my glasses, I couldn't really see all the details. And I was like, look at this grown ass man sitting up on this panel. I was shocked. I had no idea. I think that's the only real talk I've been to. I've been to a bunch of other stuff. I tell you, we've done a bunch of nothing. But every day I get back to the house and by midnight I'm exhausted and go sleep in the bed and don't get out the bed until like 11 o'clock. It's amazing. We went on a cruise yesterday, a little sunset cruise around the island. Beautiful. My God, this place is so beautiful. And chilly. I did have to do a little shopping. I had to go buy some sweaters and some sweatshirts because I came up here cute. And it is very cute occasion, but I came up like all cute and no chill. But I had to go buy like actual chill clothes just to like sit on the porch and just sometimes just like walk around the neighborhood. I have my workout clothes. I've been walking every day, every other day. Let me not lie to y'all. And I'm only walking because I'm like mainlining carbs. It's like the clam chowder and then the apple fritters and donuts at like midnight. And then this woman who lives in our house, may God continue to keep and bless Sabrina. She made this like macaroni salad, and it sounds like the most basic thing ever. But she put some extra garlic salt and some salmon in it and some other things that I can't quite put together. I'm not one of those people that can like taste something and be like, oh, it's this. I don't know what she put in that. It was the best macaroni salad I've ever had. And she was like, oh yeah, like during the summer, people do cookouts, they request my salad. Like you goddamn right they do. Like I was eating it in the other room because I was upstairs working. This is when I was recording the podcast last time. And I came downstairs when I was finished. Everybody, they had the salad and they left it out for me. And so I went and got some and I sat down and I was like, I had to walk onto the porch and interrupt the conversation. I was like, who made this? Who made this? And give her a special kudos in front of the group and be like, girl, put your foot in this shit. It's amazing. But I switched houses. I moved all of 6 minutes away. I didn't want to leave. So I was asking everybody I ran into on the island. I was like, do you have extra space? Do you have extra space? And no one had extra space. Although, remember I told you there was a hotel that was available? There was like one hotel and it was like 900 and then 1100 on Friday. And then I think like 1400 on Saturday. And I was like, never, never in life, never. And it was just a real basic room. It wasn't even like a presidential suite. It wasn't anything fancy. It wasn't on a high floor. It didn't have a particularly lovely view. It's just, Martha's Vineyard this time of year. Okay. I was like, well, okay, let me circle back because I really want to stay. I swung back. That same hotel, $3,101 per night. Per night. Per night. I was like, I will swim. And I can't swim. I will swim back across to the mainland before I paid that for a hotel. Somebody paid it because I looked the other day and it was gone. But my favorite thing about the island, you got to have a little change to be on here just because it's so expensive this time of year. Everyone's chilling. Like everyone's walking around in like shorts and baseball caps and like flowy linen dresses and just like chill. And you could walk up to anyone and strike up a conversation and they're just going to talk to you like not as so and so with all these fancy titles and fancy cars and fancy clothes and fancy dresses and fancy accessories and all that other stuff. Just as, I'm just picking a name out the ether. Brenda. So you just gonna talk as like Brenda and Demetria, and y'all gonna talk about whatever Brenda and Demetria are interested in. And if it rolls around to work and stuff, then that's fine. But for the most part, people are just chatting about life, about health, about being women, about nails, braids, the weather, just chilling. It's really a beautiful time. I'm really enjoying myself very, very much. Oh, the highlight. This is one of the reasons I really wanted to stay. I talk about my minister, my pastor, whose church I've actually never been to when I talk about like the good church with the bad parking in Arlington, Virginia, Alfred Street. I think I've told you this story before. I started following, I call him HJW in my head, Pastor Howard John Wesley during, I guess it was probably around the pandemic. There was a clip of him that went viral. And he was saying that, yes, I am a minister, I am a pastor, I am a man of God. When I'm in a bad place, sometimes I might reach for the Hennessy and sometimes I might reach for the Bible. And he was also speaking about his walk with Christ, his spiritual practices. And I'm paraphrasing, I hope it doesn't change the meaning. But he was saying that even as a pastor, I am on a spiritual journey. And like we could get together as a group and we can go on this path. We're taking this journey together. I appreciated that he didn't position himself as someone who is perfect. We're on this journey together. We're all taking a walk on a spiritual journey. And I was like, this is my definition of leadership. This is the kind of person that, and he's not ranting and raving about submission, but he is someone that I look toward to see what his perspective is, what his thoughts are, to see what he's talking about. We talked about the stopped at a green light thing, the sermon. Like, yeah, I think we did. I talked about going into the kitchen and my mom was watching the sermon. I went to warm something up and I overheard the sermon and I circled back and I was like, say what now? He was talking about people who get stuck. Yes, we did talk about this. People who get stuck in bad situations. You get stuck in a bad relationship. You get stuck in a bad job. You get stuck in just a bad place in your life. People who will not move on. And you can't access the blessings that God has for you because you're stuck over here, distracted, doing something that you have no business doing and God doesn't want you to do anymore. I say all that to say, this is my favorite pastor. I would follow this man, maybe not off a cliff, but if he would be like, okay, we're going to the cliff today, like I'd hear him out. I'm gonna still use like discernment and judgment. I'm gonna speak to God first. But he is speaking on the island tomorrow. So I'm very excited about this. I'm excited about getting up early in the morning and going to church. I saw that the service starts at 9:30 and people were like, "Ooh, girl, doors open." They literally put that on the flyer. Doors open at 9:30. Service begins at 10. I had said something about being excited to see him, and they were like, "Girl, the whole island's excited to see him." They were like, "You want a seat inside? You need to get there around 8:45." And I was like, "I'm sorry, I need to stand in line for 45 minutes to get into church." And they were like, "Yeah, it's an island full of black people, and they all go to church and do." I was sitting on the porch. The church was around the corner from the last place I was staying at. We were sitting on the porch on Sunday morning drinking coffee and talking shit. And we were watching everybody walk by on their way to church. They looked lovely, beautiful people. But I heard that the church was filled like almost immediately. Reverend A.R. Bernard was there. But last week, the pews were full and people were standing outside the church on the lawn. I heard the lawn was full. And then, like, across the street, people were standing outside listening to the sermon and the word of God. I was like, Amen. So I'm going to get up at the crack of dawn. I actually had a dream about this years ago. I just had a deja vu moment. But yeah, getting up at church at the crack of dawn to go stand in line to sit in the pew inside and see my favorite minister. I've never seen him in person. I talk about doing it like every other Sunday. I'm like, "Mommy, let's go to church." She was like, "Ain't no parking." So we watch him on YouTube faithfully for years. I watch him when I'm over in Africa too. I'm so excited. You know it's not fair. The fact that Netflix hides thousands of shows and movies from you based on your location, and then has the nerve to just keep increasing their prices on you. Now, you could just cancel your subscription and protest, or you could be smart about it and make sure you're getting your full money's worth, like I do, by using ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where you want Netflix to think you're located. They have servers in over 100 countries, so you can gain access to thousands of new shows and never run out of stuff to watch. And ExpressVPN is so easy to use. You fire up the app and click one button to change locations, and that's it, you're done. And it works on all your devices: phones, laptops, tablets, smart TVs, and more. What I love about ExpressVPN is I can watch all my favorite shows no matter where I am. If I start watching something in the US and then I go to Ghana, I can keep up with the series, even if it's not available in Ghana. I can watch season 1 in the US, season 2 in Ghana, season 3 in Cape Town, and season 4 wherever else I am in the world. So be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/ratchet. Don't forget to use my link at expressvpn.com/ratchet to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. When your schedule is packed with kids' activities, big work projects, and more, it's easy to let your priorities slip. But when you feel like you have no time for yourself, non negotiables like therapy are more important than ever. You know, I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I think everyone should have a little, especially the people that don't think they need it. Friend, you probably need it the most. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. I love how easy BetterHelp makes it to access professional help. Never skip therapy day with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/ratchet today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ratchet. What else is going on? I'm supposed to go see, that's what I was saying at the beginning of the episode. It's the closing of the film festival today. And I didn't make it to see the Luther documentary again. We went on a boat ride last night and we didn't get back in time to go see Luther. Plus, I didn't have tickets. The Luther documentary, the passes just for the doc sold out really quickly. And then I was going to get a day pass. And by the time I went to get the day pass, it was already sold out. I was going to pay $100 just to go see this documentary. I tried to see it in DC. I tried to see it at ABFF. I tried to see it at Essence. I keep missing this documentary. And I heard it's really, really good. At some point, I'll see this documentary. It's not supposed to be airing until 2025. Hopefully, I don't have to wait till then. But I didn't get a chance to go see the Luther documentary again, which I'm very upset about. Not the point. But today is the closing of the film festival, and Will Packer's film, Fight Night, I think that's what it's called. Like everybody and their mother is in it. And of course, as I'm speaking, the names of all these people escape me. Taraji P. Henson is in it. She's a DC girl. You know how I love to support hometown. So I'm going to see that. There's a talk with Will Packer beforehand, and then there's a screening. So I'm very excited about that. And then there's a party afterward. Next topic. Do we want to do good black news real quick? No, let's do the news in the order of things that I'm really interested in because it's 1:46 on Saturday, no less. I have to get ready to go to this talk that's part of the film festival. Oh, what is the woman's name? Nkechi Okoro? Carol? Am I butchering her name? She came on the show before. She's the showrunner for All American. I posted the other day that I was in Martha's Vineyard and she reached out and was like, "Are you here?" We've been chasing each other around the country trying to find each other. We're never in the same city or available in the same city at the same time. I tried to connect with her last time I was in LA. So she's doing a talk today that I'm going to see. So that's why I need to hopefully not cut this early, but only stick to the really important stuff so that I can get to her talk on time. Kamala Harris. We didn't talk politics last week because it could really just dominate the podcast, and it's not a political podcast. Like we talk about what's in the zeitgeist, but I don't want to just solely focus on one thing, especially every episode. It can be a lot. I knew the attacks for Kamala Harris were going to be bad. Everyone knew that. They are worse than I expected. And we talked about some of them in a previous episode, especially the stuff related to sexism. And Donald Trump is on some new shit this week. Like he's creating fan fiction about like how Kamala Harris and Nancy Pelosi and other high-ranking Democrats stole the campaign or the election from Joe Biden, and that at the DNC he's going to make some sort of miraculous stand to like recover his place and actually run for president again. And I was like, yo, he's smoking that good shit. And it's lace. That ain't no regular weed that makes you come up with that. He's gone completely off the reservation. And he really like brought it to the forefront of NABJ, where he's like, Kamala Harris isn't black. You can look at her and she meets the qualifications of what we call black. Like, wait, what? And he's like, oh, I've known her for years, but not really years. But like she was always going by Indian because she is also Indian. Like this is true. South Asian, Indian, okay, same thing. And then also black. But Trump is very much like she's not black. Like she's Indian. And I was like, okay, yeah, Indian, yes, half that. And then also black. And then having these conversations online, people are like, okay, but not black because Jamaican. And I'm like, both. Jamaican, yes, ethnicity, and then also black because look at pictures of her father. Like he's clearly black. We're having a national conversation about whether a visibly black Jamaican man is actually black and has therefore produced a half black child. But because he's not African American black, people are like, not all people, but a good chunk of people are like, yeah, but not really black. I'm like, okay, so first gen, born in America, she's many things. But like culturally, all of those things because, Indian mom and Jamaican dad, which, is a lot of curry and spice in the house. Okay. And then also, raised in America, Black American. You could be all of those things, like ethnicity and race and even nationality. Like it's all tied in there together. And it's tripping people up. Like they're on the struggle bus. Like they will not overcome it. And I wanted to actually have a deeper conversation about it, but that's as far as I'm willing to go. And and I didn't even need to go there. And I want to put this out there because we've got another like 90 some odd days, a full 3 months to go for this election, and it's just going to get crazier from here. I want to read you. I think we've had to read this before about something else we talked about on here, but Maya Angelou, I'm lying. It's Toni Morrison's quote about racism and the function of it. And I just want to remind people, and it's one of the reasons I'm just going to just say just that much about Kamala being black and her daddy being black. Oh, by the way, her father is still alive. Like her whole black father, her Stanford professor father is still alive. He could actually resolve this any day now. Like, and I was like, I wish he would just do like just a quick press conference and just take to the podium and just be like, I'm black and just walk off. That's all we need. It would be nice if he would clarify it, but I also completely understand why he won't. And it's for the reason that Toni Morrison talks about. Can I read it to you? The function, the very serious function of racism is distraction. It keeps you from doing your work. It keeps you explaining over and over again your reason for being. Somebody says you have no language, and you spend 20 years proving that you do. Somebody says your head isn't shaped properly, so you have scientists working on the fact that it is. Someone says you have no art, so you dredge that up. Someone says you have no kingdoms, so you dredge that up. None of this is necessary. I'm going to repeat that. None of this is necessary. There will always be one more thing. Remember how Trump went on and on and on about Barack Obama and his birth certificate, and he's not a real American. And Obama had to go find his long form birth certificate and be like, see, I was born in Hawaii. Like, my daddy is from Kenya. My mom is this white chick. It's not your typical black American story, but it's a story, and I'm a whole American. And can we just let this rest? The man served 2 terms in office. He's been out for what, almost going on 8 years now. Trump is still trying to other him. He put out something the other day that when I was just talking to you about that the Democrats have stolen the election from Biden and he's going to emerge at the DNC and take it all back. Barack Hussein, when Trump typed it, he put Hussein in all caps. But he's still trying to other him, which is the whole point of the birth certificate. He's not us, he's other. The man has gone and produced the birth certificate. The man has been vetted by every possible source. He's still trying to other him and create the narrative that he's not like us. He's going to do this with Kamala up until the election, and when he loses, long after, because he's not going to just accept the election results. She can get all the electoral college votes, and it's still going to be an issue. He's not going to let that shit go. We know in advance Trump and his supporters are going to do some nutso shit. But this whole, oh, she's not black, it's just another distraction. Her father could go take a genealogy test right now. It could determine that that man is 100% of West African origin, and Trump would still be crying about that man ain't black. It's not the truth that he's trying to get at. It's the distraction. So there's really no use in trying to debunk it. He don't even believe this lady not black. I saw somebody saying online, like if she tried to rent a house of him in the 80s, he would know she's black. He wouldn't have no question then. Usher, he has a film coming out. Apparently, it's only going to be in theaters for less than a week. I'm reading it on Essence. Usher, Rendezvous in Paris, set to hit cinemas around the world. They better have it in South Africa from September 12th to 15th. 12, 13, 14, 15. 4 days, Usher? 4 days? That's it? I don't understand why it's only 4 days. I guess I need to get tickets. I don't know where to get them though. I'm leaving probably before the end of the month. I've seen Usher. I saw him in Vegas before I left to go abroad. I saw him at Global Citizen in Ghana. I saw him twice in Paris. I'm going to see him again whenever I get back to DC. He's doing the 20th, 21st in DC, and then the 22nd and the 23rd, I think, in Baltimore. One of those venues I'll pop up at. I personally think Usher in Paris was the best Usher. Even better than Usher in Vegas, which I thought was like super primo, amazing Usher. Literally, I went to a show, whatever the opening night was, I went with a friend, and then we went back again 3 nights later because like it was the best I'd ever seen. We got in the pit with the super fans, and I said that to somebody, and they were like, are you not? Do you not think you're a super fan? Like you went to the same concert twice in 1 week. Like you've been chasing this man around God's green earth. Literally. In the summer, you probably find yourself spending a lot more money eating out. It's okay, it happens to the best of us. But with Home Chef, you can save time and money while still getting that dining out feeling. Home Chef provides fresh ingredients and chef designed recipes conveniently delivered to your doorstep to simplify your cooking experience. Whether you prefer classic meal kits with pre-portioned ingredients and easy instructions, speedy recipes ready in less than 30 minutes, oven-ready kits with pre-chopped ingredients, or quick microwave meals that assemble in minutes, Home Chef has you and the entire family covered for delicious meals without the hassle. My favorite thing about Home Chef is not only is it convenient, but it's economical too. Home Chef customers save an average of $86 per month on groceries. And they have over 30 options a week and serve a variety of dietary needs, so you don't have to worry about what to make ahead of time. For a limited time, Home Chef is offering my listeners 18 free meals plus free dessert for life. And of course, free shipping on your first box. Go to homechef.com/ratchet. That's homechef.com/ratchet for 18 free meals and free dessert for life. Homechef.com/ratchet. Must be an active subscriber to receive free dessert. Summer should be fun, not financially stressful. With the Chime Secured Credit Builder Visa credit card, it's easy to start building credit with everyday purchases and regular on time payments with no annual fees or interest. And if your credit scores grow, so could your opportunities for lower rates on loans, like for a car or home. Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card can be used everywhere Visa credit cards are accepted. And my favorite part, you can build credit with your own money. In addition, you can access 60,000 fee-free ATMs. That's more than the top 3 national banks combined. And it's easy to find one near you with the Chime app. With Chime's secure credit card, you can improve your credit scores all summer long. Get started at chime.com/ratchet. That's chime.com/ratchet. Chime feels like progress. The Chime Credit Builder Visa credit card is issued by the Bancorp Bank North America or Stride Bank North America. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Out of network ATM withdrawal and OTC advance fees may apply. Terms and conditions apply. Go to chime.com/disclosures for details. Oh, this is not our last but not least. I need to clean something up from last episode. We talked about Rachel, cousin Rachel, and her leech husband. I said that he was a dentist. He is, in fact, not a dentist. He is a chiropractor. And they were like, that makes the situation all the worse. Well, I didn't know people thought of chiropractors as fake doctors. I used to go to a chiropractor when I was dealing with sciatica. My chiropractor did really great work, like really helped me. We have a couple more things on the list. We have time. The Fugees were supposed to go on tour. I guess they were probably supposed to start either today or tomorrow. They canceled the tour 3 days before it was set to start. Well, part of the tour, the American part of the tour, they're still going to do Europe. Lauryn Hill released a statement explaining why they canceled the tour. She said, I want to read it to you because I read it and I was like, girl, girl, girl. She blamed the American media for the tour not selling. She wrote, last year, I faced an injury that necessitated the rescheduling of some of my shows. Regrettably, some media outlets penchant for sensationalism and clickbait headlines have seemingly created a narrative that has affected ticket sales for the North American portion of the tour. She says, the trust and faith I have in my intentions and my commitment to my art seem to have been overshadowed by this unfortunate portrayal. Ma'am, ma'am, I am one of Lauryn Hill's biggest fans. I love Lauryn Hill, despite everything. Even I won't go to your shows. It's not the media disparaging you. It's concert goers, fans of yours, loyal fans who have bought tickets to your concerts and you have not shown up on time. It is fans who have gone to your concerts and the musical arrangements are not the same. Now, we all know why, because of the lawsuits and all of those things, but people want to hear the songs the way they were performed on the album that they loved. Your fans are going based on nostalgia and you can't give them the nostalgic moment. And still, they knew that and they showed up anyway. And then you don't show up for 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes and leave them sitting there. And then sometimes your shows get cut short because the venue is not willing to go over in time and pay those additional fees. So they sit there all day and then they get a truncated concert. That's why folks ain't showing up to your show. It's not the media putting out shit. It's literally your biggest supporters who pay money, American USD dollars and dineros, to come see you. And you left them disappointed. And you've consistently done that for years, madame. I would love to see Lauryn Hill perform, even in the new version of her songs. I would actually love to see it. I can't spend my money to go see you. You know, I like to be right up on the stage. I like to be in like the Golden Circle or VIP and all that. I pay good money for my concert tickets. If I forget my glasses, I still want to be able to see my performer on stage. I don't want to pay my good coin and you don't come out for 2, 3, and 4 hours. Plus, folks is grown now. It's one thing to do that dumb shit in your 20s. Lauryn Hill's fan base is 40s, 50s, and 60s. Maybe when she's out in Europe, if there's reports that the show is good and she's showing up on time, maybe she could try again. But you're going to have to rebrand as somebody who shows up on time if you want Americans to start paying for your tickets again. I'm just saying. We need to talk about some nigga shit. Your boy Nelly was recently arrested at 4:30 in the morning. There was a warrant. They said it was from a few years ago. He was driving without his insurance. He never took care of whatever that issue was. So they issued a warrant for him last December. And then whatever interaction he had with the police this time, there's a warrant. So they arrested him. They also found ecstasy on his person and his vehicle with him somehow. That's the story that was reported. Nelly's lawyer has a different version of events. He says the client was out at the casino. He won a bunch of money and also is a celebrity. He said the police were escorting him to his car. They said the police became overzealous and they ran his ID and then found out he had a warrant. And that's how he got searched and arrested. Friend, you 49 years old. This is young nigga shit for 20-year-olds. You 49. You are several grown people's father. You are a new husband and either got a newborn child or a baby that's going to be born any second now. I swear she had that baby. That's not the point. The point is, why are you involved in this nigga shit? You've been famous over half your life at this point. You should have worked out some of this drama in your life. I mean, there's always some, but nigga shit like this, you should be above and beyond this. Nelly, grown person to grown person, sir, I need you to get your shit in order. You shouldn't have fresh mug shots at 49. Come on, Cornell. Come on. I need you to do better. I know for sure Shanti ain't circled the block 10 years later to be dealing with nigga shit like this. Come on. I need you to be a better father and a better husband. Get your shit in order. I ain't even mad at the man. I'm disappointed. I was talking about it on Facebook on a friend's page. I was like, I can't believe Nelly did this. This is some nigga shit. And this woman responded. I didn't catch her last name at first. She said, my Uncle Clarence used to say, a nigga being a nigga will never be breaking news. I chuckled about that for a full 2 days. I circled back and I said, tell your Uncle Clarence I'm stealing his line because that's a good one. She said, sadly, he passed away. I said, I'm so sorry to hear that. I said, my condolences. I screenshotted what she wrote and I posted it on Instagram. And as I was clearing out her name, because I don't know who she is. She might have a government job. She can't be online, dropping N-bombs and stuff. Like, my people don't care, but I don't know if hers do. So I was like, Xing out her name. I saw her last name was Avant. Her uncle, the Black Godfather on Netflix, that Uncle Clarence Avant. Never had the pleasure of meeting him. I would have liked to make his acquaintance. May he rest in peace. His daughter did a talk on the island the other day. There was another event. It was husbands honoring their wives. So Eric Holder was honoring his wife. She's a doctor. She has a book about women's health. Her name escapes me at the moment. And then Michelle Norris, I cannot remember her husband's name, journalist Michelle. She was there. And then Nicole Avant. She's married to CEO of Netflix, white dude. But she had a talk. It was literally right around the corner from my house. We chose to go do something else, some nigga shit. And Michelle Obama rolled up at the event. I still have not had my Obama sighting. Maybe at a political event next week. They raising money for everybody, including my governor, Westmore. Hopefully I'll run into them while I'm on the island. They might be at church tomorrow. We'll see. All right. I have to go get dressed. This is probably not going to be edited until late Saturday night. Maybe sometime Sunday. We'll see. Because I'm going to this talk for the showrunners. And then I'm going to head over to see Will Packer and Taraji. And then watch the film. And then there's an after party. and then we'll see what I get into from there. I love this one. All right, back.